So, hey friends, welcome to another episode of From Chaos to Cozy, where we talk about our journey. We come from cozy down to this chaos. It's all about our journey back to cozy. And I'm excited because I'm starting to bring in who I'm calling the Cozy Care Bears. It's individuals that I know that have come across our paths, and I am wanting to bring individuals in to share their chaos and things that they've experienced to help them find their cozy. They are kind of experts in their own way with these things because it's helped them. And so I want to share those things with you. So today, I want to introduce you to a dear friend of mine, Deb. Hello, say hello, Deb.
Hi everybody.
And we didn't plan this. We're both wearing the same color. We
Right.
popped on. I'm like, oh my gosh. So this is the color of breathing, evidently, today. So I'm excited to have you here and to share your stories and some of the tools that have helped you move from the chaotic times in our life to more cozy. So without further ado, I'm going to pass it over to you and let you go at it.
All right. Hi, my name's Deb, and I am a 63-year-old retired dog groomer. And I had my own business in my own home for the past 37 years. I also am a cancer survivor. That was back in 2012. I'm just a regular person who's lived a lot of life, and I have found breathwork to be a huge help in recovery from pain, stress, depression, anxiety, and even improving my overall health. So what I would like to do, and what I've just started doing, I'm new to YouTube, but that is what I'm doing. I'm putting videos out now to help other people, help people everywhere. I want to reach as many people as I can to show them that they can do this too. They don't have to live in pain every day, all day. And that's who I am.
Beautiful. And
Wow.
I will share here on the screen, I'll put up Deb's TikTok and her YouTube. And then also I'll put the email here, and it'll be all this will be listed in the description box of the video too. So you guys can click on the links and go check out whatever platform you'd like to watch those things on too. So I'm excited that you're sharing this with the world. I know it's like a scary thing when we first jump off to kind of share our story and share what we're doing, and it's like, ugh, but I'm so proud of you to be taking these steps and sharing that. So I love that.
Yeah, this is something that I really wanted to do for a very long time, even back when I did have cancer. And after recovery, I went through chemotherapy, and it was an aggressive chemo, and it damaged the myelin sheath that goes around your nerves. It's the protective sheath that protects your nerves. And it caused little shortages, little shorts in that sheath, and it causes electrical pain. I did not recover from that. Some people do, but there are a group that don't. And so it's very painful, and it's something that is with you 24/7. It was very difficult for me to live with, and as a cancer survivor, I saw so many people on TV that were cancer survivors, and they were grateful, and I was angry. I was an angry survivor. And the pain, what the chemo and what the recovery had done to my body, it took away. I was an active person, and it took away that from me. It felt like that. And so I spent the next decade just searching for doctors, going to pain clinics, trying to control the pain that I was living in. It led to depression. It led to being dependent on strong pain medication. It also, when the pain medication eventually was taken away during the big, when the big drug crisis that was going on, the opioid crisis, the doctors started taking away pain medication, and they started being very tight with that and told me that I needed to come off of them. So that was a devastating blow to me. I wound up drinking more, being very honest here. And I basically got sicker and more depressed. And I was off the pills, but I was drinking just about all day to deal with the pain, or to bury the pain that I was feeling inside and outside. So I had a liver failure, and I wound up in the hospital. And when I came out of the hospital, I knew that I was still alive for a reason. I didn't remember what had happened, but what happened after that, my life changed completely. It isn't until just recently that I'm thinking there might have been a near-death experience. There was possibly, very likely, an intervention while I was unconscious. Because when I woke up, I didn't want any more alcohol. Now, that is my story. But I also knew that I could go on living and that I needed to try. I had a lot of people around me who loved me, and I really needed to try to live my life again. I was still alive for a reason. I need a minute.
You're all right. Take your time.
Okay.
And I know that definitely not alone. And that's what I love about, our stories and everything that we all go through. If we share our chaos with each other, and of course the things that helped us, everyone can choose what the things that help them. And like my mom, when she's the oldest of 11 children, and when she lost she's the oldest, and she started losing some younger siblings. Facing that, especially when the second one hit, like one hit one year, around the same time the next year, another one passed, and she went to group therapy, just one session. She went, and just like a grief counseling group, and she sat there, and just hearing everyone else. One of the big things that the Spirit wants to share is that just hearing what everyone else was going through, she was like, I'm not alone. And some other people's stories were worse than, she's like, oh, wow. Okay. It gave her a good perspective of that you're not in pain alone. And that's what I love about what you said is, you realize you're surrounded by people who love you, and you had some intervention that popped in to help you along your story too, your journey of this life, and it brought you to this beautiful place, where you are now, right?
Yes. I had my sister had a friend that she worked with, and it happened to be Brother Zen.
Oh.
And I was going through that hard time in my life when I was still drinking. My mother had passed away, which just added to my grief. And I was hurting, and my sister knew that Brother Zen did card readings, and she hooked me up with him over the telephone. He did a card reading for me. That was the first time I met him. He also changed my life, because listening to him, I'd never been on YouTube before. I started watching YouTube. I started finding more inspirational stories out there. I found breathing. I got a lot of help from Mr. Brother Zen. But the breath work
Absolutely.
is what really got me. There is so much science behind breathing, and I'm an Aquarius,
Hmm.
and I like to know how things work, and I'm also rebellious. I don't like to be told exactly how I have to do things. So when I found the breathing and I heard how beneficial, how many things it can do to improve our lives, and including if you start breath work, you can actually take 7 years off your life. Now,
Wow.
this is, I'd love to, if I could, but I'd probably have to do it another time. There's a before and after picture of me. I definitely look 7 years younger than I did before I started doing all of this.
Yeah,
And,
absolutely. Share those with me if you want me to pop them up here right now in the video. I can do that if you want to send them to me.
okay. And not only that, but my health improved. My blood work was terrible before I started the breathing. Now my blood work is excellent. There's not one thing that's out of alignment. And I don't remember the last time it was like that. It had to have been in my 30s, probably.
Right?
So, it really has been super beneficial. Anytime I am under stress, you can use breathing. You can use conscious breathing by breathing in for a certain number and slowly breathing out to a certain count. No pause in between. Breathe in and back out and repeat it for a few minutes or even just for a minute. And you'll see that it just calms everything down when you are stressed out. You can't help but calm down when you slow your breathing.
Mm.
And one of the things I want to share on here is that I use it daily, but also being the rebel, the Aquarian rebel that I am, they tell you, well, you have to do it twice a day and you have to do it for 30 breaths and you have to do it this way. And what I'm sharing on YouTube and TikTok is that you can use it anywhere, anytime, for as little of time as you need it, whenever you need it. Yes, it's good to practice it. I do practice it every day. Sometimes I do a 30-minute session. Sometimes it's a 5-minute session. And sometimes in the middle of the day, it's just a few seconds, a few breaths. So that's what I am trying to do. That's what I would like to put out there so that the regular Joe
Mhm.
or Carol or whoever can just learn how to use this breathing to feel better.
Mm. More cozy.
More
Helps the moments of chaos.
That's what see.
Absolutely. And I do want to invite you back to a future session where we can talk more about the individual tools. We'll, of course, everyone check out Deb's YouTube channel and TikTok, which I said I'll have linked down in the description box of the video as well, to find out in the meantime how you can use the breath work and to do that. In fact, I'm going to 7 years off your life. Hey, I mean, not off your life, add
No,
it to your life.
yeah, that's what I
And
saw.
write that down.
Not only just one person said that, I heard it from several, and they're scientists, there are people who study the brain, they're neurologists, they're cardiologists. So I believe what they say. They know this.
Yeah. And it makes sense. I know that it seems like, especially in the United States, they say that we've learned to be shallow breathers because when we're in fear, we don't breathe deeply. And so we don't get all the oxygen. Our muscles and everything else don't get all that beautiful health benefits of breathing and oxygen. And I know you have some some scientific facts you were going to talk about too, so I won't go into all that, but I'll let you do that.
Well, there's been a study they've studied it at the Mayo Clinic, and I just wanted to mention a couple of the things that they have said that it does help. It it definitely calms and regulates our autonomic nervous system. And that's the system that is our involuntary body functions, like our temperature and our blood pressure. So there's also, they are also using intentional breathing and box breathing, which is breathing in for 4 seconds, holding your breath for 4, then breathing out for 4 seconds and holding your breath again. They use that in the military. They use it with athletes, police officers, and nurses. Mm-hmm. So, you know, it also can help with COPD. There's just so many things. It's also been shown to help with diabetes, blood sugar. Yep. The holding of the breath also increases resistance to bacterial infections. It also helps to regenerate new tissue in the brain. And by practicing this, you learn how to keep yourself calm whenever you're in a stressful situation. So those are just a few of the medical benefits behind it, and that the military and professional athletes are all using breathing techniques to improve their performances and improve their cognitive and their clarity when so stressful situations, police officers, you know, they need to know how to calm down quickly. And there are more than just feeling happy and feeling good and staying calm. There's a lot more benefit to it. And also, it does reduce my pain by quite a bit. So.
Yeah, because you've been able to, you had to find different ways because they weren't able to find things to help take away the pain or to significantly, consistently reduce it, right?
Right.
So you found breath work is like so relieving for you.
Yes. I mean, the pills, there's so many side effects, and the pills that really worked were very hardcore. And I was on them for a very long time. And that's why the doctors wanted me to come off of them. They don't know how it might affect someone to be on something as strong as the strong narcotics for a decade. And I was getting close to that. So, yeah, to find ways, I've been able to decrease and get rid of. I was on anxiety medication. What else? Diabetes. They found diabetes right towards the end. They put me on diabetes medication. I'm not on any of those. I've cut back any nerve pain medication, which is, I don't know if I'm allowed to say it, but gabapentin is a big one, and there's a lot of people on that medication. Mm-hmm. I'm still on it, but I've cut it in half, and maybe one day I'll be off of it. Just keep going.
Exactly.
Things are going in the direction.
Disclaimer is always, we're not encouraging anyone to cut your medication. Consult your licensed medical profession first.
Yes, please.
Check. We made our disclaimer. Check. Sorry, but yeah, I love that. Yeah, I mean, so many. It's kind of well known that, especially in the last decade, how there's so many side effects to man-made medications that it's just like you take this for that, but then you have to take these 3 for that, and then these 3 for that, and these 3 for that, these 3 for that, and then it's just like you're just
this long of medicine, and now I'm on 4.
Yeah.
So that's that made me feel good, and it was slow. I didn't quit everything. The doctors did it like I was supposed to through the doctors. Mm-hmm. But it's a good feeling to know that I don't need them anymore. That and how and why. All I did was start working on myself, breathing and meditation. I'd like to say one thing that I probably should have said at the beginning. Sure. The reason that breath work really came to me was I used to take yoga classes.
Hmm.
And so I understood that breathing was important in yoga and that they used breathing, but I didn't know exactly how or why, but I knew we had to concentrate on our breath in yoga class. And yoga was so relaxing to me, and it was releasing. When I was feeling down, I would usually cry during the end of the yoga class during Shavasana when you're laying there quietly and you're just breathing. The tears would start to roll, and it was me releasing all the yuck, and so I think that's why when I saw the breathwork videos, I was all in. It was something that I knew was going to be relaxing and beneficial. I knew that I would be able to take to it easily, but we all breathe. Everybody, we wouldn't be alive if we weren't.
Right.
And like you said, we usually do breathe up in our chest and in our shoulders and in our neck, but that's where we hold all of our stress.
Mm-hmm.
And so by learning how to take deeper breaths and really filling the whole lung and the diaphragm, using the diaphragm to fill all of that up, is the way to really bring yourself the peace and the pain relief and the calm that you're looking for. So I hope that people will be able to follow my channel and find it helpful. I really do.
I love that, and it's funny because the first person I had on was our friend Sue, who was all about water and how tears are healing, and that it's like tears help the heart heal. But as you were saying that, the breathing is what released yuck, I almost feel like that's our mind's way of like breath work is the crying tears of our brain. If
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's like it's this
Exactly.
release, it's like the release of the emotion. This is the release of the tension, of the thinking, of that too. Interesting. I have to think about that some more.
I have seen there are people who practice certain types of breath work. I think it's somatic. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to remember which one it is, but I have not done that one. But there's some crying. There's a lot of crying.
Yeah. Release.
Yeah, but it's a good release. People don't feel bad afterwards. They feel much better afterwards. Mm-hmm. So, but that's not the kind of breath work I'm teaching. I'm just teaching.
Yet. I'm just kidding.
Not yet. Yeah. Denny, you're right.
But it's great because I know I've learned a lot about fear in my life, and how when we're in fight or flight mode, we're out of our minds and out of our, conscious. We're in that little inner child, the, fight or flight mode. And that they always talk about how breathing and deep breaths and doing breath work helps get us out of the fight or flight mode, which returns us back to our healthy place, both intelligent, compassionate, loving, but also our physical body, because the immune system shuts down, the digestive system shuts down, all this when we're in fight or flight mode. And breath work helps us calm our bohinies down to where can be where our bodies work to their highest perfect healing and self-healing. Yeah. So I love all this as well.
Yeah, you mentioned the baby crying, and yes, it's like when you see a baby who's really at the end of her crying.
Right. Right.
The breath's in, filling those lungs to help. That's exactly what the breathing can do for you. It's as an adult, let's go ahead and cry.
Yeah, let's let it out. I mean, those tears of that deep, yep. It's so beautiful. That's hilarious. I love that. Gonna have that in my head now. Well, I love that. Well, just for the sake of time, I don't know if you have anything else. I know you wanted to end with sharing something else. Did you have anything else you wanted to share as we kind of move to the closing of this episode?
I don't think so. I did not bring any notes with me. I decided to let spirit just let everything happen. I definitely feel the spirit. The breathing helps with meditation. People who do meditate, if I do breath work before meditation, or it deepens the meditation, just adds to it. And I think that's it for
Beautiful.
now.
Beautiful. Well, definitely we'll have everyone check out your TikTok and your YouTube channel. And then did you mention that you wanted to close with a quote that you got through an app?
I did. I get a daily inspiration in my email. And yesterday, as I was preparing for the podcast today, it popped in. It was the breath of the universe. And so I'd like to read that if it's okay.
Absolutely.
When we remember that nature's power is as close as our breath, we breathe deeply once again. We cannot connect ourselves with a basic force of nature by focusing on the essential element of air during a wind meditation. We can. Did I say we can't?
You can or can't. It's your choice.
Right. We can connect ourselves with a basic force of nature by focusing on the essential element of air during a wind meditation. We begin by centering ourselves on our breath. We inhale the life-giving force, feeling it fill us, and then releasing it into the world to let our breath mingle with the breath of nature. If we cannot feel the wind right now, we can recall times when the wind has sent us caresses on our bare skin, or ruffled our clothes and played with our hair. We can evoke sounds carried on the wind. Maybe laughter or song, or perhaps just the wind's own whispers through the trees or across the landscape of our ears. We may summon up an image of falling flowers or leaves from above, vivid colors set free with the wind's encouragement. We may envision birds drifting on unseen currents with wings unbent, or flags and banners unfurled in the breeze. The scent of a sea breeze may come to mind, or the aromas of freshly baked treats or fragrant blooms that reach us from a distance. As these memories awaken our senses, we feel the vital force that surrounds and animates us. We can look to the trees to sway in time with nature's rhythm. Just as we can be soothed by the wind, we know that nature has great power. In a rush, it can block out all sound, leaving us with only the beating of our hearts. Wind can even make the inanimate dance and whirl gracefully. With a gentle sigh, the wind has carried sailors to faraway lands and balloons to great heights. We can entrust the wind to carry our voices and best wishes out into the world, knowing they will be carried to their perfect destination. Releasing these precious offerings to the wind's care, we remember that nature's power is as close as our breath, and we breathe deeply once again before returning to the world around us.
Beautiful. I love that. Would you mind forwarding that to me? And I'll put it in the description box down below if everyone would like to read that too.
Great.
There's so many things in that I love.
I want to read this tomorrow.
Yes, absolutely. So and then it'll say where it's from, because I'll give them credit there just for copyright reasons. But I love that. Thank you for sharing that. What a beautiful way to end today's episode, talking about breathing and breath work. So be sure to check out Deb, and remember, as we're going throughout every second of every day of our lives, we truly are eternally and unconditionally loved by the Mother and the Father of all things, our Creator. And of course, we love you too. Thank you again, Deb, for sharing your time and your gifts and your stories. And you'll be back, I can guarantee. We'll have at least one additional episode, if not more.
Okay.
if you'll have me.
Yeah. I've got more to share.
All right. Much love to everybody. You guys take care. We'll see you soon. Until then, just breathe. Just breathe with Deb.
Thank you.
Right. Take care, everybody.